Monite or moha laga click akivito tade alak constituency de jaigina ase to tai logo de ulop kota kurbo. Hello Aki, can you hear me?
Hi Atu, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hello.
So tell us more about where you are right now, Aki.
All right, at the moment I'm here in Tulazuma, and this is a village under the Dimapur 3 assembly constituency. Well, Dimapur 3 is one assembly constituency that's on hot fire. We've got some very eligible candidates that are contesting from the Dimapur 3 assembly constituency at this hour. And at the moment we are here in Tulazuma. When I spoke to the polling officers, there are two poll booths here in Tulazu. When I spoke to both the polling officers, they have said that up to now, which is about 12 a.m., the voting started at 7 a.m. and up to 12 p.m. there's about 25% turnout of voters, and this particular polling booth and this particular village has got about 831 voters. And as you can see behind me, there's a huge line of voters that have queued up to cast their vote. There are NDP has put a female candidate, Hikani Jakalu, in this assembly constituency. He is going against the sitting MLA of this particular constituency, Ajito Jumomi, who was hoping to get an NDPP ticket, but unfortunately had to do with an LGB Lok Jan Shakti Party ticket, and he's also contesting from this area. Apart from that, we've got independents like GB Kauto and Lun, who are also contesting from this Dimapur 3 assembly constituency. Well, if you look at Dimapur 3 constituency, we've heard about Dimapur 3 assembly constituency in the news a lot due to the poll-related violence. Well, this area, which is Tulazu, might seem peaceful, but in other areas in the Dimapur 3 under constituency, it was marred by political violence that was captured, where we had incidents where chairman in the Dhansari Par area, they were attacked by miscreants. And then yesterday itself, we heard another incident where an LJP Mahila vice president was attacked, and unfortunately, she had fractured her arm. But then the main intense battle here is between the NDPP, LJP, and the independents here. The political campaigns in this particular constituency has magnified. We saw several leaders of several intending candidates coming to areas like this, trying to appeal to the voters to vote for change and to vote for development, to vote for something new. Well, Hikani, being a woman candidate, has put forward the woman perspective in this time's 2023 election. So we've got some female voters there. We'll try and get an idea as to whether they think this particular 2023 elections will break barriers by at least Nagaland sending one female MLA or member of Legislative Assembly to the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, which has 60 seats, whether there is one seat reserved for a woman, and whether Nagaland will be making history by sending a woman to the NLA. That is yet to be seen. But as you can see, the voters are enthused. Even though it's kind of hot, they are still in the queue. They're waiting for their turn to cast that vote for that particular intending candidate, and also to decide for the next 5 years who do they put their responsibility on. But before that, we'll just speak to some aunties here who are waiting in line to actually cast their vote and find out on what basis are they giving their votes this time. So, auntie, ita to election la time bhi punchi se. तो अपनी कान वोट हाला दो, स्पेशली तुला जुमा दे अपनी कान फर्स्ट तो की बदली आई वो दिवो मुंजा ऐसे
আমি খান তো তুলাজুমা ভিলেজ খান তো হলে তো পাৰা তাক তো চেঞ্জিং আহি দিবলে মন আছে আৰু আমি খান সব ক্যান্ডিডেট বি ভাল আছে হলে বি তুলাজুমা খান তো হলে মাকিকে উঠাই দি কিনে এসেম্বলিতে মাকি নিমিতে এটা খাৰা কৰিনে মাকি লাগা ৰাইট তো কব লাগে কৈ কিনে আমি খান তুলাজুমাতে হলে মাকিকে হি সাপোর্ট বেশি থাকা নিচিনা দেখি পা আছে
आंटी अपनी भी वोट दिया तो बेसी साल हुई ना था क्यों अपनी भी कितना भी अपनी ला भावना दे ना इलेक्शन दे एकता माइकी के भी खरा करो एकता पार्टी बा एकता मौका दिवो कोई ना भाभी कितना भी भावना करिसेन ना
कुरसे इतुबर माइकी के चांस दिया बरा मखम बेसी खुशी আছে তাই जो ले भी डेवलप करबो ने की कोई ना हामी काम बस्ती त
अलग साइड तो तुला जुला कोथा ला एकता कोथा करिले दो एकता तुला जुला ऊपर दे एकता नाम ओलो अलग साइड बा आनी दिया तो ये विलेज काउंसिल ला प्रॉब्लम था किसे तो अपनी खान ये रेजिडेंट्स ऑफ तुलाजू थकी ना ये तो विलेज काउंसिल ला ये तो प्रॉब्लम था भी itu de change ani diule mon ase na.
চেঞ্জ কৰিবলৈ মন আছে আৰু ডেভেলপ কৰিবলৈ মন আছে বস্তিটো
Auntie, first to apni khan suppose apni khan la choice thagile. First to rasta banao na bacha khan la school la jaga to olo bhal kuri dibo mon jais.
স্কুলটো ভাল বনাবলৈ মন যায় আৰু ৰাস্তাৰ পৰা বেছি দূৰ পায় না আমি খান এইটো পৰা
Thank you so much. So we just heard a few aunties sharing their opinions. Well, Tulazuma was marred by controversy over the village council, where they had a lot of retaliation from the villages itself regarding who the appropriate village chairman would be, and that is also one of their concerns as to this elections, whether the problem of the village council of Tulazu, whether it will be resolved or whether the issue will continue, because through the village council the villages in Tulazuma benefit a lot. But now with the non-existence of a village council, whether the normal activities of the villages of Tulazuma can also be the same, that is yet to say. Apart from that, the other thing that they really want to see some change in is in the condition of the roads. Well, everybody wants to go to school, but then when you have to ply on that road, it gets a little disturbing, it gets a little depressing. So along with infrastructural upgrade in the schooling system, they would also want a little change in the road infrastructure, and that is one of their concerns. And as you also heard, as this constituency for the first time in its history is actually where there is a woman candidate in the fray, the women supporters here, the women villagers here, they are hopeful that this time if their vote goes to a woman itself, then there are bigger chances of development. But we still have the sitting MLA Ajito Jumomi, who is the sitting MLA, but this time contesting on a Lok Jan Shakti party ticket. So for him to, since he's been fighting the elections, he's been an election veteran, whether this would pose as a new challenge as a woman has now become his competitor, that is also yet to see. But at the moment, people are getting their umbrellas in as the heat is pretty scorching, but they have not lost their zeal and they have not lost their enthusiasm to actually cast their votes. And we hope that the peaceful atmosphere that is currently presiding here and is currently being felt in this particular polling booth, it keeps on continuing, and we hope that people, especially from this constituency, they come out in numbers and exercise their adult franchisee, because each vote counts, and it's because of one vote that the next 5 years for the villages here are actually impacted by. So if there are eligible voters in the Tulazu area, they should definitely come and exercise their adult franchisee and also give their opinion as to who they think would be the right candidate and who they think they want to put their trust in for the next 5 years, and whether this village, this Tulazuma, will see development. That is some of the important questions. So yes, every other constituency that we are going to, we are facing a kind of similar problem. But yeah, when we speak to them off camera, there are so many things that they're looking forward to in terms of development, in terms of change, in terms of leaders actually impacting their life. And this 2023 elections with a woman candidate in the Dimapur 3 Assembly constituency, the views are opinionated, and also the way the voting pattern is also now surely bound to change, and we are also going to see whether whether voters will actually respect women enough to actually vote for them to send them to the Nagaland Legislative Assembly. Well, so Atu, let me try and garner some voters here who are willing to actually share their opinion with us on camera. So until I can get a few of them, let me get back to you.
Right, Aki, we do understand that many people wouldn't be comfortable coming on camera and speaking. So before that, I would like to ask one thing. See, when the PJP or the NDPP released their last list of candidates, it was a shocker to many, because many of the sitting MLAs did not get the seat from their respective constituencies. So when we talk about the sitting MLA there in Dimapur 3, Arjeto also did not get the seat from the NDPP. So we want to know, besides him not getting the seats from the respective party that he won the last election with, how was the wave this time? Him joining a new party, but how was the wave? Was he still able to hold that thing? How was it?
Taking back a few days, and let's go back to the day the ticket distribution was announced. At that point of time, MLA Ajito did express his dismay over not getting the tickets, but he himself clarified that day itself that he would be fighting the elections on a party ticket, but he did not confirm. And then, when the news was finally out, he had decided to contest from a Lok Jan Shakti party ticket. Well, if you see after the chain of events, after MLA Ajito decided to fight from the LJP ticket, if you look at the chain of events, you can see that especially from this village too, Tulazu, we had the NDPP Tulazu unit, most of the youth units, given their open resignation, and we also saw them shifting their allegiance to the LJP, which is MLA Ajito's party. So apart from that, yes, they have broken barriers here, and we've also seen that the LJP has set up a office, unit office here too in Tulazu. So we can, looking at the ground picture and looking at what is happening, yes, there seems to be a division of votes. Back in 2018, I think Tulazu, they chose to elect Ajito Jimomi as their sitting MLA. But now with the introduction of Hekani Jakalu in this particular assembly constituency, and with the female voters outnumbering the male voters, there is a slight change of wave into their voting pattern, saying that the women folks, they want their representation, they want to be represented by a woman, and they're getting this opportunity. And as we heard those aunties speak, that this time there's a woman, so they will vote for her because she has promised development. Well, Ajito too himself has come into this particular assembly constituency and has promised to, and has shared his vision too about what he wants to do in the next 5 years. But at the moment, there seems to be a division as to which leader is getting the advantage, because votes seems to have broken up in this particular Dimapur 3 assembly constituency, where you've got a large number of female voters and a large number of male voters too. Then you've got a lot of female voters with their sympathy, or rather empathy, that a woman candidate is also going to be contesting in this particular 2023 Nagaland Assembly elections. So there is a division. We are seeing that the vote has been divided between male and female, and whether this will eventually impact the result that is going to come out on March 2nd is yet to be seen. But at the moment, there is a big Mahila wave out here, and we've got maximum number of women voters, as you can see out here. So whether all women are in the same favor, whether they share the same opinion, whether they share the same perspective, and if that holds to be true, then I think in this particular constituency, the female is at an advantage.